Good morning, students. Continue with the revision of the chapter Force and Laws of Motion. For any type of questions, since we know that in the CBSE pattern, we have assertion, reason type questions. So if you have a clear concept and you can answer of any question. These are some numericals of Newton's, which is based on the Newton's second law. In last video, we understand what is the Newton's second law. Newton's second law, and by the derivation of this law we find that F is equal to m into a. So we are doing some numericals which are based on this Newton's second law equation, that is F is equal to m into a. So we know that what is the force, the SI unit of force is Newton, and the mass has kg SI unit and acceleration as meter per second square. So we can also see that 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram meter per second square. This can be the value of 1 Newton. So Newton is equal to kilogram meter per second square. So if you have clear concept, then you can solve any questions like the assertion reason, which are really so confusing. The numerical is, what is the force would be needed? I'm not writing the numerical here because I have already explained you in last lectures what are the numericals and how can we solve it. So I'm writing only the values which is given in the question, like what force would be needed. So what we have to find here, we have to find the force to produce an acceleration of, now what is given in the question, this is acceleration 4 meter per second square in a ball of mass 6 kg, and mass is 6 kg. This is the mass of the ball, and you have to find the force required to produce an acceleration of 4 meter per second square in a ball of mass 6 kg. So you want to find the F. According to the Newton's second law, we know that F is equal to m into a. And what is the value of m here? 6. And a is 4. So it will be 24 Newton. So simple question. Second one. What is the acceleration produced by the force of 12 Newton? So what you have to find? You have to find the acceleration. The question is what acceleration is produced. So here in this question you have to find the value of acceleration produced by the force of 12 Newton. What is given? Force, which is 12 Newton, exerted on an object of mass 3 kg. So what is the mass of the object? It is 3 kg. So now in this question we have the value of F, we have the value of m, and we have to find acceleration. We are using the same formula, F is equal to m into a. According to this formula we can easily find that a is equal to F upon m. So what is the force here? It is 12 Newton upon mass is 3 kg. So what is the value of acceleration here? It is 4 meter per second square. The units are really important. In maths and physics, units are really important. You should always have to write all the units with the values. Third question, calculate the force required. In this question, you have to calculate the force required to impart in car a velocity of 30 meter per second. So a velocity of a car, this is the initial velocity of the car, which is 30 meter per second in 10 seconds. What is this? This is a time, 10 seconds. Starting from rest. And what is the meaning of starting from rest? It means the car is started from rest. So if the car is started from rest, it means its initial velocity is 0. So this is the final velocity of the car. Okay. So calculate the force required to impart a car velocity of 30 meter per second in 10 seconds starting from rest. The meaning of the question is the car is starting from rest, and you have to apply some force to give the velocity of the car 30 meter per second. So you have to find what should be the force required, what would be the value of force which is needed to exert on the car so that the car can attain the velocity of 30 meter per second. So according to formula, we know that F is equal to m into a. We have the value of m. Oh yeah, in this question the mass of the car is 1500 kg. So what is the mass? 1500 kg. So we have the value of m. Now we don't know the value of acceleration. So first of all we will find the value of acceleration. According to the formula of acceleration, acceleration is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by the time. So by this formula we can find the value of acceleration, even though we can apply the first equation of motion, that is v is equal to u plus at. The equation of motions are really so important. and it can be used in any chapter, first, second, third and fourth. So according to the according to the equation, first equation of motion, here we have the value of v, it is how much, 30, is equal to u is 0 plus acceleration we have to find, and what is the value of time is 10 seconds. So what we done, we only put the values which is given in the question here. So v is equal to u plus 80, v is equal to u plus 80. 30 is equal to a into 10. Then what is the value of a here? 30 upon 10. So it's easy, 3 meter per second square. So we can say this is the acceleration of the car. So any type of numerical you can easily solve if you have proper knowledge of equation of motion and the formula which we are using for finding the value of force. Now the next question is this is a graph based question. Again, you should be clear. Chapter first should be clear to you so that you can solve any question. Okay, in this question the point is A, B, C and D, and the value here is 15 meter per second. This is the velocity in meter per second. Okay, I want to explain something. This is a VT graph, velocity time graph. Here time is in seconds and the velocity is in meter per second. So this graph is, the value for the B is 15 meter per second and the time is here 2 seconds. Here it is 5 seconds and finally it is 6. So this is the speed time graph of the car of the mass 1000 kg. Now in the question the mass of the car is how much? It is 1000 kg. The first part of the question is what is the distance traveled by the car in the first 2 seconds. So again you should know that if you want to find the distance covered by the car in 2 seconds, what we have to do, for finding the distance by VT graph we will calculate the area of the graph. This is a triangular form, so we will find the area of this triangle. So if we want to find the distance covered in 2 seconds, from starting from the 0 and in 2 seconds, since this is the graph which show the 2 seconds, so for finding the distance we will calculate the area of this triangle. So we will say like this, distance is equal to, distance covered by the car is equal to area of triangle A, I can mark it like E, AEB, and the area of triangle is 1 upon 2 into base is how much? It is 2 and height is how much? It is 15. So distance covered is how much? It is 15 meter. Okay, if you want to find the distance covered in next 5 seconds, okay, next 3 seconds. Initially in 2 seconds we find that its distance covered by the car is 15 meter. Or again if you want to find it how much distance will it cover in next to 3 seconds. So it means we have to calculate the area of this rectangle. Okay, or for this rectangle the length is how much? It is 3 and the breadth is how much? It is 15. So 3 into 15 is equal to, we can calculate the distance cover. Again since we have the graph like VT graph is, this line BC is parallel to the time axis. It means that the velocity of the car is not changes, or if the velocity of the car do not changes, it means the acceleration is 0. So in this part, when the car moved from B to C point, in next 3 seconds the acceleration of the car is 0 here. So you should also know how can we read the graph. In your science paper you also have a paragraph based questions. So if your concepts are clear, then you can answer any question. So again, if you want to find the distance covered in a next 1 second from 5 to 6 seconds, so again you have to find the area of this triangle, and the area of this triangle is 1 upon 2 base into height. So this is a method to calculate the distance covered by VT graph. Now the second part of the question is, what is the braking force applied at the end of the 5 seconds to bring the car to stop within 1 second? Now you have to find how much force will be required to stop the car in 1 second. From 5 to 6 seconds, we find that the velocity of the car becomes 0. From 15, it becomes 0. So it means in 1 second, its velocity becomes 0. So you have to calculate how much force would be required to stop this car. So we know that F is equal to m into a. Now we have the value of mass. This is 1000 kg. And if you want to find the acceleration of the car here from C to D, now again it should be remembered that for the VT graph, if you want to find the acceleration, you have to find the slope of the graph. So here in this case, the slope is how much? Slope is perpendicular upon base. So here we are finding the acceleration. We can say it like this: slope CD. Again remember, for VT graph, if you want to find the acceleration, we have to find the slope of the graph. Now the slope CD is how much? It is 0 minus 15. Finally it is 0. Initially it was 15. So perpendicular is 0 minus 15. Upon the base, base is how much? 6 minus 5. So it is minus 15 upon 1. So we can say that minus 15 meter per second square. This is the acceleration in last 1 second. Now again, if you want to find the force required, so force is equal to mass 1000 multiplied with the acceleration, which is minus 15. So we can calculate it like minus 15,000 Newton. Minus sign show that the force exerted should be in the opposite direction of the motion of the car. So suppose the car is moving in this direction, so we have to apply the force in the opposite direction. This minus, the meaning of this minus sign is this one. So this is a paragraph based question. Let's do some more numericals. A truck start from rest. So what is given in the question? The truck start from rest means initially the velocity of the car is 0 and rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. The acceleration in this question is constant. It travels a distance of 400 meter in 20 seconds. So the distance covered by the truck is how much? It is 400 meter. So what is this? This is the distance. Distance, we represent the distance by using the symbol S. It is 400 meter in 20 seconds. So the time taken by the truck to move the distance of 400 meter, it is 20 seconds. Find the acceleration and find the force acting on it if its mass is 7 metric ton. So first you have to find the acceleration. Or for acceleration, we have 3 equation of motion, and we have to find out which equation of motion we will use to find the acceleration here, because in this question the distance cover is given. So for the distance, we have 2 equation of motion in which we use the distance, or we can say displacement. This is the second equation of motion, which is S is equal to ut plus half at square. And the third equation of motion, which is v square is equal to u square plus 2s. So first of all, we will see that which equation of motion is appropriate for finding the value of acceleration here. For the third equation of motion, we don't have the final velocity of the car, your truck. So we can use the second equation of motion, because we have the value of time, we have the value of s distance, we have the initial velocity. So by using this second equation of motion, we can find the acceleration. So it is really important that you can think, or you can understand that which equation of motion is appropriate to find the value. So here for this question, s is equal to how much? It is 400 is equal to u0 and time is 20 seconds plus half into acceleration is how much? We have to find, and time is how much? 20 square. So 400 is equal to, it is 1 upon 2 into a into 400. So it will be 200, and इसको divide में लेके आएंगे तो acceleration will be 400 upon 200. It is 2 meter per second square. So this is the acceleration of the truck. Now the next part of the question is, if the mass of the truck is 7 metric ton, mass is how much? 7 metric ton. The value of 1 metric ton is 1000 kilogram. So since we know that the SI unit of mass is kilogram, so first we will convert the metric ton into kilogram. 7 into 1000 kg. This is the mass of the truck. You have to find the force required. F is equal to m into A. So by using this formula, we can easily calculate the value of force required. It is 14,000 Newton. This is a force required to move the truck up to the distance of 400 meter. So these are some simple numericals which we should know how can we solve. Now after the Newton's second law, we are studying the Newton third law. Lots of question can be based on the Newton third law, because Newton third law has lot of applications in your daily life. You ever seen the मतलब आपको पता भी नहीं होगा कि आप कितनी जगह न्यूटन थर्ड लॉ एप्लीकेबल होता है. So now the Newton's third law. First of all, we should know what is the Newton third law. So the law is, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. The simple a one line law is, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now we should know what is the meaning of these lines. Suppose you hit by your hand. Suppose you punch on a wall. What happens? Actually, when you punch on a wall, you also get hurt. So why you get hurt? Since you punch on the wall, so this wall should be hurt. But we know that we also hurt by this wall. Though we punch on the wall, but we also hurt by this wall. So what is this? Actually, if we apply some force on the wall, what happens? This wall is also exert equal and opposite force on our hand. So if we punch with a greater force, what happens? We hurt a lot. Or if we force with the less, if we punch with the less force, then we hurt less. So what is the meaning of this? It means if you exert some force on the wall, this wall also exert the equal and opposite force on your hand. If you increase the value of the force, the reaction force which is applied by the wall on your hand is also increases. आपने ज़्यादा फोर्स एक्सर्ट किया तो आपके हाथ पे ज़्यादा फोर्स एक्सर्ट हुआ और आपको ज़्यादा हर्ट हुआ, और आपने कम फोर्स अप्लाई किया तो आपके हाथ पे एज अ रिएक्शन कम फोर्स अप्लाइड हुआ और आपको कम हर्ट हुआ. So this is a simple example of the action and reaction. And few more examples which we observe in our daily life are how do we walk. Now just think about how we walk. You will observe that you push the floor by your foot. You push the floor by your foot, and this is the action. Okay, the force exerted by you on this floor is the action, and for this action this floor is also exert equal and opposite force on your foot, so that your foot get a force from the floor and you moves forward. So for moving, what we have to do, we have to apply some force on the floor, which is called the action, and we know that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as a reaction, this floor exert the force on our foot, and that's why we are able to move forward. Other examples are, suppose this is a gun, or if you use a gun in a कहाँ होता है वो जहाँ पे गेम की तरह यूज़ करते हैं balloons. We use this gun for burst the balloons. I remember, I think you play these games. So this is a gun, and if we fire a bullet from this gun, what happens? Actually, we also get hurt by this gun in backward direction. If this gun exert the force on this bullet, it is also exert the equal and opposite force on this gun, and that's why we hurt by this gun, and this jerk we actually feel on our shoulders. So this is an example of the action and reaction. So the question is the why gun recoil. gun recoil means the gun feel a force in the backward direction. If the bullet is fired from the gun is also feel a force in the backward direction. So this is again it is due to the action and reaction. More examples are if we this is a balloon, or suppose we just open the balloon, we open the thread here. So what happens, this balloon is moving this direction. So why this balloon moves in opposite direction? The opposite direction of the motion of this gas. Actually what happens, if we open the thread of this balloon, then the gas moves in this direction. This moving gas is also exert the equal and opposite force on the balloon, and that's why this balloon moves in the backward direction. Other examples are the jet planes, rocket. What in the case of the rocket? We actually burn a lot of fuel in a rocket, and this fuel make a lots of gas here. And if we throw this gas in this direction, the direction in which this gas exert the force on the floor or the earth, then for this action, this floor or the earth also exert an equal and opposite force as a reaction on this jet or rocket. So by this reaction force which is exerted by the ground on the rockets move in forward direction. So this simple question can be asked in assertion reason. This question can be there in paragraph based questions. So these are some examples. One more example is in case of hose pipe. Have you seen the hose pipe? Hose pipe means which we use for which is used by the fire brigades. Fire brigades has a मोटा सा एक बड़ा सा pipe होता है उनके पास, है ना, have a thick pipe in which the lots of water comes out to extinguish the fire. So this pipe has to hold tightly. Why? Because the lots of water is removed from this pipe, and this is the action. And this water is also exert the equal and opposite force on this hose pipe. So due to this force, we have to hold this pipe tightly because of this reaction which is exerted by this water. So these are some examples of the action and reaction. So this is about the Newton third law. So you should also remember the Newton third law and what are the different applications of the Newton third law. Okay, now in next video we will understand what is the conservation of momentum and some numericals based on the conservation of momentum. Okay, bye.